Honored USSR figure skating coach Tatyana Tarasova believes that three-time Russian singles champion Adelia Petrosyan has a chance to reach the podium at the 2026 Olympic Games, which will be held from February 6 to 22 in Milan and Cortina d'Ampezzo, Italy. She has a coach, and together they are choosing the necessary tactics. Adelia isn't the only one aiming for the Olympic podium. You can look at the world rankings, and everything will become clear. Both the Americans and the Japanese will be competing. But Adelia also has a chance. RIA Novosti Sport quotes Tarasova as saying, "At the end of September 2025, Petrosyan won the qualifying tournament in Beijing and earned a personal quota for the Olympic Games, where she will compete as an ain. Iteri broke the stereotype that she doesn't know how to work with men." On the eve of the Olympics, winning gold at the European Championships is a powerful statement. There's a widespread belief that Adelia Tutberidze is a coach of prepubescent girls. Critics of the Russian specialist have pressed this very point, attempting to diminish her caliber. However, the head of Krystalny made a clever move and completely turned the situation in her favor. Tutberidze brought a formerly inconsistent single skater to the European Championships and helped him win gold. Nika Egadze overcame his problems and became a leader. Will the same be true for Adelia Petrosyan? Adelia Tutberidze is a coach who has etched her name in the history of figure skating. She has been recognized as the best specialist in the world at various times, and the track record of her staff still speaks for itself. However, if we look at it objectively, Tutberidze also has shortcomings. Her system operates on a utilitarian approach with strict requirements and is limited by the age characteristics of her trainees. For this reason, Adelia Georgievna chose one of her most successful disciplines, women's single skating. Here, the achievements of Krystalny are hard to overstate, from Yulia Lipnitskaya's triumph to Evgenia Medevadeva's records, and Alina Zagitova's stunning victory, from the emergence of the unbeatable trio of Trusova, Sherbakova, Kastornaya to the development of a fighter in Adelia Petrosyan. Nevertheless, when the coach set out to expand her sphere of influence, she clearly failed. Adelia Tutberidze doesn't know how to work with single skaters. This stereotype has grown in the professional community, as the specialist hasn't had any truly significant breakthroughs with her students. In 2014, Sergei Voronov snatched silver at the European Championships, but at that time, his coach hadn't yet developed her style, and the athlete himself came to her as a two-time Russian champion, with the background necessary to win a medal at a major international competition. Another single skater was a product of Tutberidze's system, but Moris Kvitelishvili's best result was bronze at the European Championships. At the junior level, Adelia Georgievna's skaters included Adian Pitkev, Alexei Arakov, and Daniel Samsonov, but for various reasons, all of them faded in the seniors, confirming the theory that Tutberidze hadn't learned how to develop mature skaters to their peak. It seemed history would repeat itself with Nika Egadze, who emerged as an extremely inconsistent single skater at the start, struggling even with the junior quads. For several years, he posted unsatisfactory results under Adelia Tutberidze's guidance. At the 2022 European Championships, the Georgian representative failed to qualify for the free skate. A year later, he repeated this negative achievement at the World Championships, failing to master a single quad and receiving just over 65 points. A couple of years passed, and progress gradually became noticeable. In 2025, Egadze finished just short of the podium at the European Championships, and at Worlds, he finished 9th. The coaching staff likely planned for Nika to win a medal at Europeans the following year, and he did, but no one expected it to be of the highest caliber. In Great Britain, against strong competition from Daniel Grassl and Kevin Ames, the Georgian skater could have hoped for bronze, but his competitors crumbled, and Tutberidze's protege, on the contrary, delivered a performance of his own. Moreover, in his free skate, Nika demonstrated a very impressive technical set of 4 quads, a Lutz, a toe loop, and 2 Salchows, and also landed a triple axel. With a total of 273 points, Egadze became the 2026 European champion. This victory has several connotations beyond the usual joy of the athlete and his coaches. First and foremost, it's a prestigious trophy for Krystalny and Adelia Georgievna herself. She has finally broken the stereotype that had been attached to her and signaled to everyone that Tutberidze is capable and willing to work effectively with single skaters. Thanks to this, the already favorable attitude toward the specialist students will improve, both domestically and internationally. A breakthrough at the European Championships is a significant event in the run-up to the Olympics, as the judges will remember Egadze as the winner and Tutberidze as the one who trained him. Another consequence of Nika's gold medal follows. He'll take to the ice at the games with a new rank, more focused and calm, which will help him give his all for the Georgian team, which will be vying for a team medal in Milan. As for the other Kristalny representative who will be competing at the Olympics, for her this victory is a sign not to worry and to fully trust her coach. Essentially, Adelia Petrosyan is following in Nika Egadze's footsteps. Both started out with jumping problems, and now one has already achieved their goal, while the other has yet to. Adelia Georgievna made a powerful statement to the world that she will fight to the end, whether it's at the European Championships with a former inconsistent singles skater, or at the Olympics with a skater who isn't afraid to go all in with numerous ultra-C elements. Adelia Petrosyan, a member of Adelia Tutberidze's staff, and his protege, three-time Russian figure skating champion, shared how difficult it is for them to open up to a new person. Daniel, I think it's impossible to immediately trust a stranger. It's naive and risky. I trust the people I love and those who love me completely, without fear of harm. If someone disappoints me, it hurts, of course, but I still prefer to live in harmony with myself and trust. Trust must be sincere. I find it hard to imagine how it can be trained. Adelia, I don't trust people right away. I communicate with those I like, but I remember that my words can be shared with many others. This happens quite often in the world of figure skating. It seems like a big village where other people's news is shared confidentially with the whole world. Laughs. There's an expression, earn trust. For me, it means that a person demonstrates reliability and integrity through their actions over a long period of time. Marie-Claire quotes Nika Egadze and Petrosyan as saying, Adelia is very demanding of herself. Sometimes this gets in the way. Sometimes you make a minor remark and she gets worked up, which leads to emotions. A coach's wisdom lies in understanding why this happens. The athlete respects you, trusts you, but is so wound up right now that it's better to slow down and give them time. I remember myself during my athletic career. When a jump you already know how to do doesn't work, it's irritating. No one gets upset when learning something new. They've never done it before, so it didn't work. But if you can't do what you've worked on, you flare up like a fuse. Marie-Claire quotes Nika Egadze as saying, Belgian journalist Martin Delvaux stated that Russian figure skater Adelia Petrosyan could have been a contender for gold at the European Figure Skating Championships. It's absolutely clear that the level of women's competitions hasn't been very high in the last 3 years, so the absence of Russian skaters certainly had an impact. I think Petrosyan would have won gold. The level of the European Championships this year was very low and disappointing. Only Petrosyan showed a more or less decent performance. Delvaux said in an interview with MetaRatings.ru.